Hello, and welcome to the Hello You Show, where we talk about big dreams and taking real action. Through transformative stories, a bit of neuroscience, and real conversations, this show is here to help you explore creating your next level life with authenticity and passion. I'm Jessica Rice, a design techie and former engineering leader turned vision evolution coach on a mission to help other women rise up and lead a life of purpose. So get cozy and say hello again to the real you. Hello and welcome back to the Hello You Show. My name is Jessica Rice and I'm your host for today's show. And I am so excited to bring on a very vibrant and special guest to share with you. Her name is Kay McCready, and she is a highly skilled emotional resilience expert. She's a trauma practitioner, speaker, and 9D breathwork facilitator. She's the founder of Kay McCready Coaching and co-founder of Beat Global Academy Ltd. She's created a transformative platform dedicated to empowering women who've weathered life's storms, faced trauma, and navigated adversity. And with a deep-seated passion for uplifting individuals, Kay guides them in acknowledging, understanding, and processing their emotions. This journey not only reignites their inner spark, but also sets them on a path to a life filled with emotional balance, fulfillment, and genuine liberation. So I'm so excited to bring on Kay. Thank you so much for joining us today, all the way from the UK.
Yes, hello, and hello you, and hello your audience. It's absolutely amazing to be here. Thank you so much for allowing me to come here and speak with you today and your audience. Thank you.
Oh, no, thank you. It's absolutely my pleasure. I'm excited to have you on and just sharing with us about some of the work that you do. And now I know you have this incredible background and you work with women who have faced trauma. And I would love could you just share with us a little bit about what drew you to this work?
Yeah, absolutely. I was a police officer for 28 years. So I've faced trauma on a regular basis, whether that be my own trauma or seeing other people's trauma around me. And as I say, I spent 28 years doing that. I actually had 36 jobs before I became a police officer. When I was at school, I didn't really like education very much. And I ended up trying lots of different jobs. I didn't really feel like I fit in anywhere. So I just kept trying more and more jobs. And eventually I joined the police force and I absolutely loved it from the beginning. I've been able to help so many different people in life in lots of different ways every single day of my life, every single day of that 28 years, helping other people in their darkest moments of life, and also celebrating people in their times where they've been excelling in different things. So it's been absolutely rewarding career. I've absolutely loved it. But obviously during that time, there have been some really dark times. I've faced some, real struggles in my career. First of all, with harassment in the workplace. So I went through that. And then after 4 years of being a police officer, I faced my own struggles, my own emotional struggles. And actually, my 4-year-old son died. Cameron, he died of cancer. And, I thought I was really, really resilient. I thought that I could just bounce back like I had done after every single challenge that I'd faced within the organisation and dealing with, things on a daily basis. But actually, I realised that I couldn't bounce back from that. And I really struggled emotionally. I didn't know how to process the emotions that I was feeling. And it really took a toll on me mentally, also physically. And I ended up going on the sick for quite a long time. And after that, I actually reached out to the organisation for help. And there wasn't really any help there at that time. So I struggled for a long time. And eventually, when I decided to take ownership that it was me that was going to help me, it was me that was going to fix me, nobody else was ever going to do that for me. that I actually took responsibility and I made a decision that I was going to do something different to what I'd always done. And I actually started working on my physical health first. Really, I started changing my diet, I started exercising, and that actually, made me feel a lot better. And because I felt a lot better, it meant that I was then able to do some more work around mindset work. I was able to start educating myself, to start doing different programs, different courses. I became qualified in different things. And then eventually, when I started to become well again, I realised that there was a lot of other police officers as well who were also in the same sort of position. They might not have been suffering, because they'd lost a child, but they were still suffering because of stress within the organisation and the stress that they were living under every day. So I started helping police officers initially, and I started coaching police officers. The organisation put me through a coaching qualification. And I started doing that, and then I became a Reiki practitioner. I became an energy healer. I started my own business doing that initially, and found that, again, when I was doing that, I was also helping women, with their emotional challenges as well. And it just became a natural thing, actually, to then start helping women who were struggling emotionally. I became a trauma practitioner as well. So it all just, fell into one. And then 5 years before I retired, I decided to set up my own business, which was Kay McCready Coaching. And when I set that business up, I knew that I would be retiring in 5 years' time. So I just took that business forward. And now don't coach police officers. I actually work with women who've experienced trauma or have faced significant life challenges, because not everybody knows that they've experienced trauma, but they might have experienced some challenges in life and they're unable to process those emotions. They might have some patterns of behavior that have been learned, very early on in life, that are their ways of coping. So I actually work with those women now to rebuild their emotional strength so that they can live an awesome life, so that they're able to feel their emotions, process their emotions, connect with their bodies, because quite often we're so disconnected with our bodies because we've been dissociating for such a long time, that actually connection is one of the first things I get people to do. And once they're able to connect with who they are, what they feel, they're able to then process those emotions in a really safe environment so that they can then, live an amazing life. So yeah, that's in a nutshell.
Well, oh my goodness, you have, number one, thank you for sharing with us the things that you have faced and experienced. And I think so many of us can, even if we can't really fully have experienced what you're talking about, in the sense of, just unknown traumas, in addition to sometimes trauma that we face, whether it's in the workforce, in our lives, things that have come up for us. And we struggle with knowing how to process those emotions and feel deeply, connected with ourselves. And so I love how you're bringing in the mind-body connection with processing emotions. I know that you do a lot of different types of work, and you work with several different techniques to help process emotions. And I was wondering if you could explain what 9D breath work is for us, for those of us. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, of course. A lot of people have probably done breathwork practices. So breathwork's been going for so many years. And I remember when I first started doing breathwork, I started doing Wim Hof breathwork, who, if you haven't heard of him, he's the Iceman. So, he would do cold water therapy, which I'd do anyway. But I started off with his breathing techniques, and then I went into Soma breathing techniques, and then I discovered 9D breathwork. So if you've done normal breath work, 9D breath work is just like the icing on the cake, and that's how it felt for me. So what happens in the 9D breathwork sessions is that you wear a surround sound headset, and you actually wear an eye mask as well. And there are different sounds that go through the headset. So you've got subliminal messaging, you've got binaural beat, you've got 432 hertz, you've got hypnosis. And at the same time that those are playing through the headset, you're also doing conscious connected breathing. And what happens when you do in the conscious connected breathing, you have all those elements going through your head, you're able to access your subconscious mind. And our subconscious mind is where all of our old patterns and our beliefs are stored, and all our old traumas and emotions. And once we are able to get access to that, our body is able to release all of that trauma. It's able to release all of that, those emotions that are being stored in our body. And they might come out in the form of shaking, they might come out in the form of crying. Our bodies can do some really interesting things during these sessions, but it's basically all of that stored emotion, and we're able to process it in a really safe environment. And it is so transformative for people. And I find quite often that one of the things that I really struggled with was being able to silence all of those thoughts in your head that are constantly going on, maybe it be self-criticism, self-judgment. And in those breathwork sessions, you're able to silence that mind. You're able to just have that peace, that silence, that quiet. And it is so amazing. And people always leave the sessions where they're feeling transformed. People say, I just feel lighter. I feel lighter. I feel like there's been a load lifted off my shoulders. And people experience all sorts of things during the actual session, but it helps with regulating your nervous system, which is where our fight, flight, stress response lies within us. And once we're able to, work with our nervous system, we're able to manage stress. We're able to manage those challenges that we face in life. We're able to manage all the struggles. We're able to manage those through our breath. So it is so transformative. It is really, really an amazing practice. And there are, quite a lot of facilitators around the world now as well. So it's been a really transformative tool to help my clients to be able to process those emotions in a really safe space and a safe environment.
Well, I think it's so beautiful that you can help people process trauma in this very holistic way. And it sounds like they're going so deep into themselves as they're thinking through this. But in this space, it just sounds phenomenal, where it almost feels like you're encapsulated, the way you're describing that, so that there really is only you and your breath and the subconscious and things that you're hearing. So it sounds really, really intriguing to me. So once people process their trauma and you help them to kind of break through some of that, how is it that you then help them to kind of find that inner fire so that they're kind of ready to lead life maybe a little bit differently?
Yeah, I think quite often we're so conditioned by society to live in a certain way. We've learned patterns of behaviour from being very young that our body does these things to protect us, to keep us safe. Whether that means that there is actually a real danger or not, our body believes that there's a danger. So we are constantly living out of this state of fear, even if we don't know that. And I think the work that I do with people is actually, we look at, first of all, their purpose. What are they actually here for? What is it that lights them up inside? Because, like I say, more often than not, we're actually living in condition patterns to please other people all the time. But actually, when you get to ask people what it is they really, really want, more often my clients don't even know what they want because they've never been asked that question before. They've always been worrying about other people, about doing those people pleasing behaviours. And when you actually ask them, they struggle to answer that question. So really dig deep into that. What it is that lights them up? What is it that they want to be here doing? How do they want to help people? How do they want to feel? How do they want to live their life every day? Because they've been conditioned to live in a certain way. But actually, when you peel all of that back, what is it that they want? What is it that's going to light up their soul? And when we look at discovering those things, we're able to, focus their life and their day on what it is that they want to achieve, what it is that they want to feel. Because when I ask people, what is it you want to feel? When I want to feel happy or I want to feel loved. But actually, when we dig in, what does that actually mean? What does it actually mean to feel loved? What does it actually mean to feel happy? And how does that feel in the body? Because we know what we think it is in our head, but it's actually about connecting to our body and feeling those things within our body. So we do a lot of work around that, around what they actually want to achieve, how they want to feel. And then we work backwards from there, so we look at the things that the patterns that they might want to change, the things that are not working for them in their life, the things that are not effective for them. We look at, the boundaries that they might need to put in place. We look at the limiting beliefs that they have. There are so many different areas that we cover, and we get some real breakthroughs, because once people know what it is they want, and we look at their different patterns of behaviour, their different trauma responses, we can then start to work towards achieving some of those things that they want to achieve.
So beautiful. It sounds like there is this kind of backwards connection, between what you're creating with, purpose and value, and really understanding why it is, or the motivators behind some of the actions that women even take, and recognizing some of those unconscious, thought patterns and behaviors that they do, and maybe finding alternatives, especially if they're not happy with where they're at in the relation to trauma that they're processing and their emotions around that. I know so often women feel like they have to please and take on more, but they don't know how to ask for help, or they don't know how to really make those shifts and changes for their lives and empower themselves in that way. What do you feel? I know that you've drawn to this work and you've helped so many women. How do you feel like that even informs you in your life and brings, value to you every day?
Yeah, I mean, my mission is to, help other people in their hour of need. When I was suffering, when I had been through so much trauma and I was suffering every day, I was desperate for somebody to come along and help me and to fix me. And that person never came along. It was down to me to actually be able to fix me. And the message I want to put out there to the world is that, to women in particular, that no matter what you have been through, no matter what you've experienced in life, no matter what trauma you've been through, no matter what challenges you've been through in life, there is always a way that you can move forward. There's always a way that you can actually change things around, that you can take responsibility. You can take responsibility for how you feel. You can take responsibility for being able to process some of the traumas, some of the challenges, some of the emotions that you've pushed down, squashed to one side, that you haven't known how to deal with because you've never been shown. I want you to know that my mission is to help you to be able to process those emotions, to be able to understand that no matter what has happened to you, it is not, your fault. This isn't about blaming people. It's about having an understanding and about having an awareness of the traumas, the challenges that you've been through, and understanding how they're playing out in your life every single day, and knowing that you can absolutely change those around. You can change those patterns of behavior. You can learn how to regulate your nervous system. You can learn how to feel safe in your body. And when we feel safe in our body, we can do so much more than we ever thought we could. And I want you to know that all of those things are possible for you, because I never believed that I would be able to do any of those things. I never believed there would be a day when I would be happy and excited and fulfilled and living a life that I absolutely love, because I'd been through so much trauma, because I was conditioned so much by society, because I didn't know any other way. And I want to be here to provide that way for people, so that they can understand their traumas, they can understand how their body is trying to protect them from those traumas, and how that impacts on their behavior every day. And I want them to know that they have choices and they can change those things around so that they can live an amazing life.
Mm. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I think that, it's it's so refreshing to hear, number one, that how we deal with our trauma, how we process it is kind of the path forward to finding that freedom from it. And I think sometimes we just want to shove it down and we want to forget about the things that have occurred. And it's just not the best way, so that we can be whole human beings and value ourselves as women. Because I know there's just so much that's going on underneath the surface for so many of us. Now, I know that you have a talk coming up on the 20th of March for Women's Thrive Summit. So would you mind sharing with us a little bit about what you're talking on? And we can put into the show notes the link to register.
Yes, absolutely. So my talk is at 12 o'clock on Wednesday, the 20th, and I'm going to be sharing my personal story. So we are going to be talking a little bit about trauma in there. We're going to be talking about how, trauma showed up in my life. And I'm actually going to be sharing the sun technique, which is a technique that I have created, which helps people on their path to becoming emotionally resilient. My talk is called Empowering Your Inner Warrior. So we've all got that inner warrior inside us, and I'm going to be giving some tools and techniques on how to, to bring that about for people. So it's going to be really exciting. I can't wait to share that with people.
I love it. Empower your inner warrior. I think so many of us could resonate, and we're like, we need that. Yes, absolutely. So I look forward to listening to your talk on the 20th as well. So I know there's several ways that you support women. Can you tell us what are some of the ways, that they can work with you, what that looks like for them so that they have awareness?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of the work that I do now is online. Because it means that I can access more people all across the world. If you're actually here in the UK, you can work with me personally, but majority of the time, the coaching sessions that I do are all online. So as I say, you can access me anywhere. I have got an online program that I'm about to launch next week as well, which is a 12-week program called Elevating Her Resilience Unleashed. And people can access that program as well. So that's going to be about working through some of the traumas, identifying some of the patterns. There's a lot of work in there for people, but again, you can spend as much time on that as you want. It's online, it's self-paced. So if anybody wants to work with me or wants to contact me, you can reach out to me on either Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn. I'm on all the social media platforms, and you should be able to get access to all of those things from there.
Elevating her. I love that. It just sounds so amazing. And we'll definitely put everything into the show notes on how you can connect with Kay and Facebook, website, all of those things. So I'd love to ask you, what is one final message that you would have for women who, are considering even where to begin in rising up from trauma that they have faced, or even if it's possible for them to overcome some of the trauma and how to revitalize their lives?
The message that I have for those women today is that what's really important in life is you. You have to become your priority. You have to become the number one person that you look after, that you care for, that you think about. Because when we learn to look after ourselves and care for ourselves, our life is going to be incredible. Not only is our life going to be incredible, every single person around us is going to reap the benefits of that. But if, we've all heard, if you don't put your own mask on first, how can you help anybody else? And I know that that is true, because for 28 years I put, everybody else before me. And then when I needed those moments for myself to look after and care for myself, I didn't know how to do that. So if you don't know how to do it, that's absolutely fine. It might be that you've never been shown that, but just remember that you are the most important thing in your life, and you've got to put you first. If you put you first, everybody else will benefit. So take the time to think about what it is that you want, to think about how you want to feel every day. Do you want to feel good? Do you want to feel amazing? Do you want to feel happy? Do you want to feel loved? Do you want to be able to harness all those positive emotions? Because if you do, that is available to you. It's absolutely available to you. You deserve it. You deserve all of those things. So if that's something that you want to explore and you want to feel those things and you maybe not at this moment in time, please reach out to me, because it is absolutely achievable to you. If I can do it after all the things that I've faced in life and I can completely turn my life around, then you can too. And don't let anybody tell you any different, because you can.
So powerful, and such a wonderful reminder for all of us that, it is possible for us to find hope and happiness and freedom from some of the experiences that we've had. And I can feel that message coming through you, and how genuine and passionate you feel about helping others to overcome the, similar things that you faced. And when you had to dig into yourself, and now you're there to help others, and be that voice for them when they're not really sure where to turn. Thank you so much for joining us today and just sharing your wisdom with us. I'm so looking forward to hearing your talk at Women's Thrive Summit, but I so appreciate you taking the time to be with us today.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me here. It's been really great talking to you, Jessica. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kay. And thank you so much for joining us today. And please be sure to check out the show notes, get in touch with Kay, and register for free for the Women's Thrive Summit and listen to her talk. Be sure to check out every Tuesday. We have a new episode coming out. And until then, remember to keep shining and being you.
Thank you for tuning into the Hello You Show. It's been a pleasure to have you with us on this journey today. If you found value in our conversation and want to support the show, please take a moment to like, follow, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. We'd also deeply appreciate it if you could leave us a review. Your feedback not only helps us grow, but also enables others seeking inspiration and authenticity to discover our community. Until next time, keep embracing your story with purpose.